Hello, 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 beautiful people. I am so happy you joined me. If you're watching live, it is Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is Pop of Color Live, a music industry late night show for colorful bands and artists. I'm your host, Clara, and we are back for season 2. It's the new year, 2019. Tonight's late night show is going to be focused on goal setting when it comes to the key portion of the episode. And for the news, we happen to be going all around the world with international news that has taken place over the turn of the year. Happy New Year to you. I hope you've had an excellent time of rest for the Christmas holidays, and you've also had an excellent time to reflect and set goals for the new year, which is what we're going to be talking about. I'm your host, Clara. I run Pop of Color, a music branding and marketing agency here in Canada, which is where I am at right now on my sofa with the cats in my living room. But let me know where you're from in the comments if you're watching live or if you're catching the reruns, which as always are available on Facebook, on YouTube, and on my blog in the archives. All references and news sources are available on the blog when you go to the post about this late show episode. So if you want to learn more about the things I'm talking about tonight in the news, head over there. Let's begin. Going all around the world on a tour, so world tour from my living room, starting Far East. Let's go with Japan, who has extended their copyright to now be 70 years, up from 40 years past the death of the content creator. This means further copyright protection for a longer period of time before works of art, music, or intellectual property of any sort can enter the public domain. Next up, this is one I found very, very fascinating and I wanted to get quite geeky about because I have a personal connection to this country, is this report I found on the rise of mobile streaming in China. So, it's in particular looking at a big streaming service called Tencent Music Entertainment. It has between its companies that it's acquired in the past little while, it has 78% of the market share in China. And it's currently preparing for an initial public offering where it presents its stocks, its shares, and where people can purchase actions in the company to own a percentage of it. So, which means they're planning to make a profit. So to compare Tencent and Spotify with some quick stats on their financials, Tencent is making profit already. So the Chinese streaming service is making profit already from its first 6 months it has been with $263 million. Spotify so far has not turned a dime. Tencent's revenues are currently at 1.3 billion, and its valuation is 25 to 30 billion US dollars. All these prices are in US dollars, by the way. Spotify is currently having revenues at 5.3 billion, not making any money though, and has a 29.5 billion market cap in its projections. It will not be able to surpass that amount. So, Chinese streaming is turning a higher profit than in the West. What's up with that? So for those of you who don't know and are not familiar with my background story, I grew up in Asia, and most particularly in China, where I would buy pirated CDs in the basements of grocery stores. I was in middle school. This was my first introduction to music outside of the classical opera, Broadway style stuff that my parents would listen to. And I would go around, and because I didn't know any of these artists due to not having more than one English language radio station, I would just purchase the ones with the pretty covers. Of course, these being pirated CDs, it also introduced me not only to branding with pretty covers, but also to the concept of artists not getting paid their fair share. I laugh, but this is where I come from with Chinese copyright and enforcement levels. And clearly, since I left 7 years ago and moved here, they have gone above and beyond to support their local artists and rebuild their copyright systems, especially in the world of music. So I'm really happy for them. In the last couple of years, the government and the music industry, they put increasingly effective strategies in place, including big copyright takedowns, new departments in the government, and as well, culturally, the increasing distance from communism with China's political beliefs and system and philosophy of thought with their people means that now that making money is seen as culturally acceptable to want and cherish, intellectual property, which leads to money, is something that should be protected. And it's coming into the cultural psyche, and that means that people are much more likely to come on board with protecting intellectual property. Some quick stats about China when it comes to music streaming, because if you have not had the chance to get your music on a mobile music streaming service such as Tencent, you should. The population is 1.4 billion. 92% of them have mobile phones. Urban areas have good coverage, and the government is increasingly expanding their broadband network across rural areas to be able to industrialize all over. Now, how are these Chinese streaming services making money? One, through sheer number of people streaming. So that's more on the artist side. If there's 1.4 billion people who are streaming music, this means that you have more cents that can rake up. As well, fans who are able to directly tip the artists when artists go live in these apps. And it's a culture concept that we've seen a bit in Facebook Lives. Dawn Bayer, for example, is an artist based in Tennessee who does this, but she has a PayPal tip jar in her Facebook Lives, and she plays. But here but over in China, they have it entirely within the app where fans can tip an artist when they play live, and the streaming app gets a cut of that revenue. And this incentive creates this kind of culture of cheering on your favorite artist and being a super fan and donating to support them, which I think is something that if we could build an infrastructure around here in North America, would really take off and could really get artists paid in the age where streaming fractions of pennies, you have to wait for it to slowly add up, especially if we don't have a population as large as China's. Next, moving on in our tour around the world with news in the music industry, France. Since Beyonce and Jay-Z dropped their music video last year, where they were in the Paris Museum, the Louvre, museum attendance has hit new records, a 25% increase since the last record-breaking year in 2012. They were at 10.2 million visitors in 2018. And here's the most interesting thing. 50% of those 10.2 million were under the age of 30. And Paris is, I'm not going out on a limb here, Paris, the museum officials are full-on crediting that music video, which has shots, dance sequences, music sequences, artsy, beautiful cinematography of all the beautiful artwork and the architecture of that iconic museum with the singer and the rapper. That is just, visual art meets architecture meets music all coming together. And it's interesting to see that play out in all different ways. And I wanted to share that little piece of information with you. And last piece of news I want to go to, so finishing our world tour over in North America, according to stats from BuzzAngle, 85% of audio streams in the last bit of 2018 were from subscription services, that is, on-demand streaming. Hip-hop is the #1 genre in the world of subscription streaming with 24.7% of total listening. So you go, hip-hop artists, you've got this. I'd like to take a moment to give a shout out to my favorite hip-hop album of last year, which was Dessa's Chime. But if you can recommend some really awesome music of all genres that are available on streaming services, perhaps if you release an album in 2018, drop it in the comments of this video. I'm just really happy for everyone, and I am really super excited for the new year. And 2 out of 3 songs streamed in the USA, which is where these stats are from, were released over 18 months ago. So there's clearly an appreciation, even in the world of streaming, for older music. Even if you don't view songs that are over a year and a half plus older as vintage. But it is not just a game of the hot single of the week in streaming. It's clearly showing with the data that there's an appreciation for deeper cuts, for album cuts, for older catalogs, and ways to explore music that people couldn't have previously done and when not having all this at their fingertips before. So yes, I want to share that with you. So that was my news going around the world. Quick recap: Japan extended their copyright protection 30 years. China is experiencing a music streaming boom. In France, museum attendance at the Louvre in Paris has gone up because of Jay-Z and Beyonce. And in the US, hip-hop music reigns supreme with streaming, as well as new stats are showing that on-demand streaming is by far the most popular way that people consume music. Now to the main feature of the presentation of this episode, goal setting. Do you have any goals or New Year's resolutions for 2019? Drop them in the comments. What I'm planning to do is I'm going to show you some ways to break down goals, I'm going to show you some ways to achieve goals, to set goals, to lay them out in clear ways, and give examples of my own goals for 2019 to be able to illustrate my point. By the way, hello to everyone who's watching live. Hi Spencer, hi Mark, hi Logan. Say hi in the comments if you're there. I'm super excited that everyone's here. I'm just grateful that you are here for first episode of season 2. It's the new year, and I am so happy. Can you tell? I was nervous right before going on, but as soon as the camera's on, I am on fire. This is how much I love doing this, how excited I am. Some of you who are artists feel this thrill, this adrenaline when it comes to performing on stage. That's me talking about the music business. You know, it's the kind of thing, this is what sets our soul aglow. Anyways, so here's a first tip for setting goals. Getting specific. So one of my goals that I know I've had it for a few years, but I really want to hone in on for this year was kick my anxiety's butt to the curb. Many of you know I struggle with anxiety. I've had to cancel late night shows because of it. But saying I'm going to beat my anxiety is extremely vague. So how can I get specific? So I want to go deep inside and think, okay, so what is a way that anxiety interrupts my daily life in a tangible way that I can point out and that I can have a little bit of control over? And I found one. For example, in the morning when I wake up, when my alarm goes off, I tend to curl back up in bed and hide and think of all the things that could possibly go wrong that day and just create nightmare scenarios for myself and just end up dreading everything and creating an imaginary nightmare for myself to the point where I don't want to get up, and by the time I manage to convince myself to, it's been like an hour since my alarm went off. That's clearly not healthy in the mind, and it also loses me time out of my day. So one of my New Year's resolutions, a tiny specific thing I'm going to do, is jump out of bed as soon as my alarm goes off. Before I have time for those negative thoughts to kick in, just roll over, jump out of bed, and like that, once I'm out, I am there. It's a very specific way that I'm going to achieve the larger goal of kicking my anxiety's butt to the curb. Another trick for setting goals is, this is one I learned a little while ago, but I really wanted to share it with you guys, replacing bad habits with good ones. So garbage out, good things in. So for example, if someone wants to quit smoking, every time they crave a cigarette, the idea is eat a fruit instead. So instead of replacing a bad habit, smoking a cigarette, with another bad habit, eating candy or doing a harder drug or drinking alcohol, it's replacing it with something healthier. So for example, for me, I have a tick of apologizing when I don't need to. I like to think it's just a nervous quirk of mine. So what I'm going to do is, every time I feel the need to fill the silence in my own house or in conversation with an apology, I'm going to replace it with saying something positive. I'm going to try to not make it awkward and out of place. But if I'm alone in the house and I feel the need to apologize to my coffee table for smacking my knee into it yet again, instead of going, I'm sorry, to the coffee table, I'm going to say positive affirmations like, I'm unstoppable. It doesn't make any sense in the moment, but there's no one in the apartment but my cats, so it doesn't really matter. And by slowly saying those things, you get them ingrained deeply in yourself. If I'm in a conversation with someone and I apologize for something I didn't need to apologize for, I'm going to try to replace it with a different positive thing I can say, maybe about them, maybe about the situation. So replace the bad habits with good ones. Are you familiar with SMART goals? So SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So this is a pretty common one when it comes to goal setting, but it's a classic for a reason. The idea is you take a goal and you can break it down and know that you know the parameters of the goal, so you are more likely to achieve it if you know how it works, how you're measured by it, how long it would take to achieve that. So for example, 2 of my goals this year fall under SMART goals. I want to attend at least 3 local concerts every month, and I want to read a new book a month. Is that specific? Yes. I want to attend more concerts. It's not specific. I want to read more. Not specific. Is it measurable? At least 3 concerts, 1 book. Yeah. Achievable? Sure. If I set my mind to it, I definitely can do that. Is it realistic? I think so. If I said I want to read 12 books a month, or I want to attend a concert every other night, it might not be. And is it timely? Or time measuremented? Time measuremented? I'm not sure. How do you say that in proper English? Let me know in the comments. But 3 concerts every month. I think that it has a time constraint. I can look at the end of January, have I attended 3 local concerts? I can look at the end of January, check my calendar, and be like, did I finish the book? You can measure that with chronological time. You can measure that by checklists and how far you are into that specific goal. And second last one is a tip for goal setting. Dig into the why you want to achieve this. So why does this matter to you? Why? Who are you trying to impress? Where does the insecurity come from? Why do you want this? So if your goal was, say, here's another one, here's a lesser one that doesn't really matter, but if I wanted to reach 1,000 Instagram followers, my Instagram link is in the description of this video if you want to help me with that, by the way. If I wanted to do that, why does it matter to reach that amount of followers? That is a serious question I would have to dig down into. Do I want to sell more stuff? And I believe having a bigger followers means more reach. Do I want to feel popular because I was not popular in school? Do I want to prove a point to someone I don't like? Figure out the why. And you will stay on that goal even past reaching an arbitrary milestone such as 1,000 followers, or even when it seems very, very hard. I mean, I've also seen this goal being applied to health goals, which are very common for New Year's resolutions. If someone's goal for the new year, so let's take the typical I want to lose weight goal for a New Year's resolution. If their goal is I want to lose weight, digging into the why really makes it worth it for them and really keeps motivation on hard days. If their goal is to have more energy to be able to spend time with their kids, or to hurt less, have less back pain, have less knee pain, that might be something that motivates them more than simply numbers on a scale, or simply feeling like they should go to the gym because everyone's judging them, or because they feel guilty because they bought a gym membership. Guilt versus what the end goal is and why it really matters to you. A positive goal that is your why will get you a lot further than just setting something arbitrarily. And the last tip for setting goals and keeping them for New Year's or at any point is telling people about them, such as what I'm doing, broadcasting live on the internet for you right now, telling you my goals for the new year. Once again, if you have any, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. This is episode 1 of season 2, so welcome to 2019. This is also the last episode I'm doing before my birthday next week. No, it's this week, yes, because we are Monday. My birthday happens to be on Friday. I'm turning 22, so Taylor Swift style, yay. So if you want to do anything special to wish me a happy birthday, share this video. I would really, really appreciate that. If you know someone in your life, musician, working in the industry, interested in this kind of stuff, who would love to watch it or watch future videos, please share it with them. It would mean a lot to me. You're lovely. Have a good week. Be the sunshine. Stay good to each other. And have a wonderful night. I'm Clara, and stay colorful.